It is such a significant moment, and we'll be really proud of the event that just we witnessed. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel so humbled because I did not do the walk for such recognition, or they send out the invite saying unsung hero. I'm not a hero. I'm just an ordinary person trying to do the right thing that I believe is right thing for this country that has given me a beautiful life, and it's just a small payback to the country. Because at the end of the day, we're all going to leave this country, leave this world, and before I go, I want to do something for the country.
That's amazing to hear. I also was about to say unsung hero, but you made it clear. No, I am not. I'm a very normal person. But what is the moment that triggered you to take such a bold step of walking from MCG to SCG, and to support this awareness, to educate and bring those awareness in the community? It's such a massive thing. What is the triggering point, and what motivated you to do it?
Yeah, a lot of media ask me this question.
This is for our Canberra Multicultural Service listeners.
And for Radio Manpasand.
Yeah, which is my Manpasand radio.
Yes.
There's no such thing as a trigger point. Say that your thinking is shaped by the people you meet during the course of your life and the events that happen in your life. Your thinking keeps changing. It's not static, it's dynamic. The seeds were sown in my childhood when I was growing up in India. Because as you know, India has a collectivist culture, as we call it. Professor Hofstad from Netherlands, he's one of the leading authorities in identifying cultures. And India is one of those collectivist countries where we not only respect our family, but also the extended family, neighbor's family. The whole village is our family, more or less.
Yes.
So we belong to each other, not like individualist culture, most of the rest. And that's where the seeds were sown when I was growing up. And when I retired, I was just basically thinking how I can help Australia or the Australian community. And when I saw this team of youngsters walk from Newcastle to the SCG in January 2022, they walked 120 kilometers and they raised $120,000. That gave me the idea, and I thought, if they can do it 120 kilometers, they raise $120,000, maybe I can raise the bar a bit and walk from Melbourne.
Oh, wow.
I thought for a couple of weeks, or maybe 3 weeks, and then I rang the McGrath Foundation. I said, look, that's what I wanted to do. And the first thing they asked me, how old are you? I said, I'm 71. And they said, oh, are you serious? What are you doing? I said, I'm retired from academia, and this is what I want to do. And they said, have a think about it. I said, no, I thought about it. That's what I want to do. So this was it. And then I started training. Then I realized that it's not as simple that you pick up the bag and start walking. You need to go through a lot of paperwork. You need clearance permits from the Victoria Police, Vic Roads, and their counterparts in New South Wales. At that time, I planned to come to Canberra, also the ACT, and then all the councils from the MCG to SCG you need to ride. And at that time, we had lots of flooding in Victoria. So some of the councils wrote to me saying, you need vaccines for this, mosquito bites.
Yes.
And some of the councils said, you need yellow flashing lights. And we had to change our, plan. Yeah, of course, because of the flooding over bridges. There were water, a lot of roads underwater. So you plan, but at the same time you need to be flexible to change the course because of different circumstances. And that's what we did. And I was glad that when I first arrived at the SCG, it was such a big moment to be received by the Premier of New South Wales, as well as Glenn McGrath himself and his team. It was unbelievable. And this gentleman here is a personal friend of mine.
Oh, nice. Well,
And he
nice.
walked with me. Yeah. His name is also Glenn.
Glenn.
Glenn Gorek. He was the Iron Man of Australia 3 times. He walked with me 35 kilometers from Razorback towards Liverpool. You know, not 4 days or 5 days before I reached the SCG. Yeah, it was very nice. This is the third walk. I was supported by Mayor of Eurobadella. He walked with me for the whole day. And also Mayor of Bega Valley Shire.
Oh, wow.
So it was amazing. And then I met many mayors, you know, along the walk, first walk, second walk, third walk. It was an amazing experience. Very transforming.
That's great to have that support here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So you took the inspiration from the youngsters and now you have surpassed them, consistently doing for last 3 years. And yet you chose to be very, very humble. So when you said about the flooding, so those are the points where it like the road is not ahead, but then you paved the road ahead. So what sort of support you got and what motivated you to pursue further during those tough and hard times like flooding or any other time or some sort of motivation that was there?
The challenges were not only just the floods, but floods were just once or twice. There were some areas under floods. But there were many challenges, you know, including the hot weather, blisters, loss of 2 toenails. I had many blisters. They kept coming, going, and every time I come to a medical facility, hospital, or a clinic, they will say, Dr. Malhotra, you need to rest for a few days. And I said, now I will rest only after reaching Sydney, not before that. There was no rest. No. There were built-in rest days, but that rest day didn't mean you don't walk. That only meant that you don't walk 35 or 30 kilometers, you walk maybe 10 Ks, but you need to walk. You need to keep the engine running, so to speak. You can't have a body with no walk. No, you need to keep going. But what kept me going was the support from all walks of life. Australians come forward to help you. You know, when you walk into a coffee shop and the guy recognize you from the van or from the media, they say, no, we don't want to take any money from you. There were caravan parks, you know, not everywhere, but there were caravan parks where they said, oh no, you stay with us, it's big honor for us. You know, people from all walks of life. There was an occasion where we were lost, so to speak. There was a place called Cosgrove. I planned all the daily schedule and the total. The Cosgrove, according to Google Maps, was a place. So I planned that way. And we were walking, it's 7:30 at night, and we're in the middle of nowhere. A car pulls up, and the guy winds the window down and he says, hey, is your car broken down? Is that why you're walking? I said, no. He said, why are you walking? I said, I'm walking for this reason. I said, see that van? That's our van. He said, where are you staying tonight? I said, Cosgrove. He said, Cosgrove? I said, yeah. He said, my dear friend, this is Cosgrove where you are. This was an area, not a location.
Okay.
So he said, that's my farm there, come with us.
Oh, that's so nice.
And his wife made the beautiful dinner. I mean, I'm a vegetarian, so she actually baked fresh bread.
Oh, wow.
And made it beautiful. There were people,
Yeah, it is incredible. Yeah, like Australia is such a land where they...
And that kind of support when you get, that keeps you going, gives you a lot of energy. Keeps you going.
So, what is the message that you want to give to people who are trying and get stuck, but just a glimpse of hope that you want to give to, a message that you want to convey to our listeners?
Look, honestly, my walk transformed my own life. As I mentioned in the presentation, that it changed my focus from my health to community health.
Yes, that's amazing.
It doesn't matter what you do in life, whether you do a job or you have your own business, follow your own dreams, but at the same time, be mindful of the community you are in. You are part of that community. You are not individual. You belong to this country. This country has given you a beautiful life. We owe it to this country to do something for it.
Yeah. Give back to the society. Such a great message. Thank you so much. So the listeners, whatever the sales that is given from this book is all going to the McGrath Foundation. So
continuing culture and the important contribution that they make to the really rich life of this city that we call home and our beautiful surrounding capital region. And we also acknowledge and welcome other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who might be attending this event today. And I also wish to pay my personal respect to elders past, present and emerging. Yeah, so you might know me as Amy Francis from the ABC. You'll see me tonight 7pm on the ABC television service. Of course, we carry a lot of local stories like this. We've been very busy with the election, and of course our local radio service where we tell more of these incredible stories like the one that we're celebrating here today. But without further ado, I'd like you to please make welcome to the stage Sam Murphy, who is the very passionate Canberra organiser of this event, to say a few words.
Good afternoon. Before I commence, I have practiced the Nanawal teaching. So I'm just going to start with the Nanawal, Yangu Nanalali, Zanimani. Thank you. Why are we here on a beautiful afternoon? Let me start with what has triggered me to organize this, along with my good friend Mr. Arun Venkateshan. Just 120 days ago, if anybody would have asked me who is Dr. Malhotra, I would have said no idea. If anybody would have said this man has walked 1400 kilometers, I would have said no idea. If anybody would have said he walked not once, twice, thrice, no idea. If anybody would have said he kindled the very Australian fair go and the compassion and our ability to be a philanthropist in our own right, I would have said no idea. Leave the money for now. But for someone to do unconditionally, when I say unconditionally, I mean it. I lived with that unconditional experience of my own when I was privileged to stay with him for 26 hours in one day. So when I realized I didn't know this man, a sporting cricket man tragic, I didn't know this guy, and then he has achieved all the things. Then I took the time to go to Balo and be with him, and then go to Sydney Picnics and meet. Then I came back, I asked my good friends, do you know Malhotra? No idea. Have anybody known this guy walked 3 years from Melbourne to Sydney? No, absolutely no. How many average I would have donated in my entire life? Best life, $3,000. Here is a single soul who has done all these things unconditionally, and no one knows about it. So they that Malhotras of the world are the one in the wheel ticking. And we must and we should, and that's what we're here. So I warmly thank Heidi Francis for her precious time, and equally thank you all for your time, and let's get the show going. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. It really is such a great story, as you've outlined there, Sam. We're gathered here today to formally recognise and celebrate Victorian retiree's really remarkable individual philanthropy and also his ongoing legacy. It's so inspiring. He's such a shy and unassuming senior. He's now raised more than $124,000 for the McGrath Foundation, which has been operating for 20 years. Why don't we have a round of applause? $124,000, it's remarkable, one person. Those funds are helping to expand access to free support for cancer patients nationwide and their families, with close to 300 cancer care nurses working to deliver world-leading cancer nursing services without a referral currently. And I'd like to welcome one of those cancer nurses who is with us in pink here at the front table. A relatively new position, just a couple of months into the new role, doing such important work in our community, and these funds funds are directly helping to support such important people like you in our community. So welcome to you. Over the 3 years, the retired academic and father of 4 walked close to 4,000 kilometres. Isn't it breathtaking? Can you imagine walking 4,000 kilometres between Melbourne and Sydney, using deliberately different routes each time to raise awareness? It wasn't just about the money, it was about conversations like this one. And when he began that ambitious Odyssey, his first charity walk, it was 71. And that was November 2022. And he went on to complete his third walk at the age of 73, culminating at the SCG for the pig test. Now, Sam, you've got some footage here to share, particularly with the audience if you're not familiar with his story, how he was welcomed, the Bollywood welcome at the SCG. It was also the 5th time the Indian team had played in the pig test. And in this footage you're about to see, you'll see women wearing pink sari shirts, and that's about the Pink Sari project that works to increase the number of women in Indian and Sri Lankan communities in New South Wales being screened for breast cancer through community events and social media, just like this, since 2014. So let's have a quick look at it. So some pretty fantastic moves there. What a welcome. What an incredible welcome from the Pink Sari Project and also members of the McGrath Foundation that you can see there in the crowd. Now, as well as fundraising, Dr. Malhotra has worked tirelessly to raise the profile of cancer awareness and the pig test with so many regional communities that he visited during his travels right along the East Coast, covering Victoria, New South Wales and the ACT. And today, here in Canberra, formally launching this walk about his wider life and also the charitable walk. Please know that if you decide to spend $50 and buy this book here today, all the proceeds, all of that $50 is going straight to the McGrath Foundation. If you don't have $50 on you and you buy it on Amazon later, they'll take a small piece, but every bit of that $50 will go to the McGrath Foundation for the work of these breast care nurses in our community. And it's important to know that it costs around $150,000 to fund and support just one of those cancer care nurses each year, and also important to reflect on the fact that close to 1 in 2 Australians are likely now to be diagnosed with cancer. So, I'd like to now welcome up to the stage His Excellency Gopal Bagley, High Commissioner of India. Please make him welcome.
Thank you very much. Mr. Andrew Day, good friend of the Indian origin diaspora here, a good friend of the strong India-Australia relationship. It's a pleasure to see you here. Prabodh ji, namaskar, sat shri akal. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, some very familiar faces, some new friends, including our friends from the McGrath Foundation. What a remarkable work, named after the remarkable legend that you are doing. I was there at the significant ground. I was there, in the pink test one of the days, and I saw the beautiful response you evoke from the people who support you. With just not their buses, but their person, just not their money, but with their heart and soul. So thank you very much for being present here, and thank you, Prabodh ji, for supporting our cause, a cause which is, of course, very, very dear to the great legend John McGrath, who's done all this great work, but also what the world. This disease is something which has struck innumerable families and persons, and your work and your walk have created enormous awareness, and I'm so glad that we are here for the release of this book, which records the Odyssey of a retiree. Now, if you're walking those distances, you don't seem to have retired, and good on you. But I must say that speaking of walk and work, I was just thinking, this is an era of Fitbits. smartwatches, and we count the steps that we walk. I guess maybe 1,300 steps per kilometer. So if you walk 4,000 kilometers, a rough calculation, how many zeros? Yeah, so maybe 5.2 million steps. That's I hope I'm not missing a zero with it. But nevertheless, to our Australian friends and also to our Indian friends, might I recall that yesterday, 7th May, was the birthday of one of the greatest sons of India, the great poet and Nobel laureate, Gurudev is the exalted renowned teacher, Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. And one of his songs which has resonated through the generations is about walking alone. If nobody is with you, walk alone. If people are not with you, they don't respond to your call, don't worry, nevertheless, walk alone. I think in Bangla it is Churi Tor Dak Shune Keuna She Tobi Klachobe. But you have blazed the trail. You have just not walked alone, you have walked with a purpose, with a resolve, and you have carried people with you, you carried a cause with you. And this is the reason why you see so many people here today, this afternoon, to come here, to support your endeavor. And it's a great pleasure for me as a High Commissioner here to see an Indian origin person not only keeping fitness, it's a mantra which is very dear to our leader, the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, who has spearheaded the wellness movement, the life initiative, yoga, and so many other things. So, not just keep yourself fit, but also spread this awareness, spread the necessity to keep fit, but keep fit just not for your own self, your own person, but for a larger cause, for the community. And as an Indian diplomat representing a country, the foreign policy of the country is based on the cornerstone of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The whole world is but one family. Nothing would give me more pleasure than to see an Indian origin person contributing through his personal effort, through his commitment to a cause, just not for himself and his own fitness, but for a wider cause, creating awareness, working for the community. And in doing so, I might also say that you not only contribute to the awareness, but you also contribute to the society, and you also contribute very significantly to the relationship, the bond between the people of the country, which are the strongest support, the strongest pillar of Australia-India relationship. So I wish you well. Cricket is a game of glorious uncertainties, but I wish that among those uncertainties on the ground, off the ground, there are certainties, including yours, your walks, maybe wish you many more 1,000 miles. I don't know if you earn any flying returns, or maybe you have any walking returns, but I think the satisfaction that you earn, the awareness that you create, and the contribution that you bring to fight this disease, I think that is a reward for it. Reward for it itself, reward for your commitment to your hard work, but also the values you bring to yourself as an individual, as a person, representing a culture of civilization, which have cared not just for the individual's evolution and well-being, but for the wider well-being of everyone. We have this prayer, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, which means that everyone be happy. So, as someone who represents this civilization, my compliments to you for representing the best values that the civilization of India, the democracy of India, the diverse democracy of Australia, they represent together. I would say that I'm very happy to be here. Once again, congratulations to you and to everyone who has brought this event together today. Thank you.
Thank you to His Excellency Mr. Prabodh Malhotra, the High Commissioner of India. Now also here with us today at the Bradman Pavilion at Narnica, we are honoured to welcome so many distinguished guests at the tables in this room. The re-elected member for Fenner, the Honourable Dr. Andrew Lee, congratulations, who has most recently been the Assistant Minister for Charities, Competition, Employment and Treasury, and he'll be up in just a moment to formally launch the book. Also with us in the room, we have a delegation from the McGrath Foundation, the Bradman Foundation, Dr. Prabodh Malhotra, and his son and support driver who's in the room, Shekhar Malhotra. Lovely to meet you as well. Dr. Anand Kulkarni, the co-author of the book, representatives from the Australia-India Business Council, the ACT chapter of the Australian Institute of Company Directors, many other Australian Indian community members and also charity leaders. Thanks for making time today. And also the journalists at this table over here sharing this event, Mr. Santosh and Mr. Mohan from Canberra Multicultural Service, a local FM radio station, and they're here broadcasting live on their social media. Thank you so much for being here and spreading the message. And Marie Lane, who was the McGrath Cancer Care Nurse for early lung cancer, 4 months into that role, that was announced at the Pink Test. Thank you so much for being with us. I'd like you to put your hands together now to formally make welcome Dr. Andrew Lay.
Well, thanks so much, Adrian. Can I acknowledge too that Ngunnawal people in whose lands for me, Darren Ngunnawal, Yungu, Nunamanyan, Durimanyan, Ngunnawal Wani, Darrawani, Dindi, Wangara, and Jedi. I want to acknowledge too at the outset the terrorist attacks that have taken place recently in India and pass on my condolences and those of the government to the victims and to their families. We have a range of VIPs here today. His Excellency Gopal Bagley, Arun Venkatesha, Sam Murthy, Adrian Francis, our wonderful MC, Chinapati Jagdish, representatives of the McGrath Foundation. And of course, we have the authors, Prabodh Malhotra and Anand Kulkarni on Retiree's Odyssey, from the MCG to Manpasand. Oh, wait, from the MCG to the SCG. They did come via Canberra, so I really think Manpasand should win this. Particularly given how fabulous it is looking today. This is a book which tells the story of an extraordinary life. You get the story of Prabodh growing up in Punjab, one of 8 children, to a father who ran a grocery store and was also, we find out, a politician. I look forward to hearing a little bit more about how a politician can manage to be a good dad as we catch up afterwards. He tells in the book stories of generosity on Indian buses and in the local community. Stories that very much reminded me of my experiences and the generosity of everyday Indian people backpacking for a month through India in 2000. An experience that I'm really looking forward to sharing with my children when we visit India in December. It'll be their first visit to India, and I'm really looking forward to introducing them to the grace and the decency of Indian hospitality. We hear in this fabulous book the story of Prabodh initially missing Australia by just a couple of letters and ending up in Austria. His time there working as a manufacturing worker, his time learning German. And the story of how he ultimately made his way to Australia. And in the book you get the answer to those questions. Why the walks, why at age 71, and why the McGrath Foundation? We hear about Prabodh's experience through his sister, a survivor of breast cancer, and the decision to put one foot in front of the other and make his way from the MCG to the SCG as a cricket tragedy. And not only to do it once over the summer of 2022-23, then to come back again and do the walk one more time in 2023-24. We hear about the training that you need to do in order to walk 1,100 kilometres and about the diet that he pursued in order to make this walk possible, to fuel his journey. We hear about the necessity of getting council permits, something that I promise I will take up if I ever find myself at the local council level, and the challenge of dealing with blisters along the way, something that I can certainly empathise with as an ultramarathoner. And the other challenges that hit you along the way, the flies, the kangaroos, the many snakes, But most importantly, you hear the stories of generosity. Those who helped out, providing a place for a shower or a sleep. The generous locals who made donations to the McGrath Foundation along the way. The indications of the impact that breast cancer has had, such as the bra fence near Danube. But ultimately, this is a book about love. Now, the Greeks talked about the various kinds of love they knew. They talked about eros, romantic, passionate love. They talked about philia, deep friendship.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me at the back? Thank you. Distinguished guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedules and coming together. Before I start, I would like to acknowledge and pay my respects to the traditional custodians of this land, past, present, and emerging. This day has three parts to it. This afternoon's event, the book, and the walk. Although they are separate, what binds them together is one reason, one common thing, is the McGrath Foundation. Because the McGrath Foundation is the beneficiary of all three things. Whether in the walk or we wrote the book together, based on the first two walks, all proceeds from the sale of the book go to the McGrath Foundation. When I left India in 1973, my father, who was a global politician, he offered me a piece of advice which had three components. He said to me, "My dear son, no matter where you go, which country you go to, which country you settle in, just remember three things. You do not do anything that brings a bad name to the country of your adoption or to India. Do not do anything bad that brings an insult to a family name. You don't do anything bad that brings a bad name to a religion. Other than that, do anything." So the flip side of that is that you do something that all of us could be proud of. The country of your adoption, where you live, and India could be proud of. And I think after walking 3 times from Melbourne to Sydney, my father's soul, wherever he is, will be satisfied, probably blessing me. That I was on the right track, I listened to his advice. The second part is the book. Sorry, let me thank the two organizers of this event. Until December 2024, I did not know Sam or Arunji. So these two gentlemen who put together a meet and greet event when I walked through here, through Canberra in December. It was amazing. And put together this event tonight, this afternoon, and having Minister and His Excellency Gopalji and Emeritus Professor Jagdishji, it's quite astonishing. And we're really grateful to both of them. Now, this book would not be there if it wasn't for the commitment from Anand. When I rang Anand for February, asking him to help me, because I'm preparing for the third walk, and he said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to do the third walk." He was already working on 3 different projects, but he committed. He said, "Yes, we'll do it." He not only committed, he delivered ahead of time. Thank you very much, Anandji. Thank you so much. Now the third part is the walk. The walk obviously is the basis for this book, the first 2 walks, but I will take you through some of the snippets of the 3 walks. There was a lot of media attention at times, so I really appreciate the media coverage that we got. A lot of people thought it wasn't near enough, but to me it was good that the trucks go past me, they knew I was on the road. You must realize that you're not on the footpath. The trucks coming at you doing 100 kilometers an hour, they have 44 wheels or 58 wheels, road trains, really big ones. And they're scary when they're coming at you. And there was a lot of places where there was no shoulder to walk on, so you had to jump out of the way. There were times when I jumped out of the way and I landed up. The grass on the top didn't show beneath. The ground beneath was uneven, and I twisted my ankle. And I thought this was the end of the walk, or at least I would have to rest for a few days. But thank God, after a day or so, it came good, and we continued. Few questions were raised during the media interviews: what kind of music I listened to. And I told them, no, I was not listening to any music, because it is like driving when you're walking on the road. You have to concentrate. You cannot have ears or eyes blocked. You need to listen to any kind of noise. The energy, that was one of the questions raised by the media. Where do you get the energy from? The energy came from all the support I got from the community. People from all walks of life came together to support. Not because I was walking from Melbourne to Sydney. There could be 100 people walking from Melbourne to Sydney. No one would care. It was because it was for a reason that transformed my own life. Up until I quit McGrath Foundation, I was walking for many years. The focus was on my own health. Staying fit, staying skinny, keeping my weight in check, keeping my body in shape. But once I signed up with McGrath Foundation to take up this challenge, the focus shifted from my health to community health. And that made a big difference. And that was the reason why people came together, because they all knew McGrath Foundation was doing a fantastic job. They've helped about 160,000 families so far. During the third walk, when I was walking, I got a call from the McGrath Foundation saying they're not only confined to breast cancer, now they're going to look after all forms of cancer. So at that stage, the number of nurses they were going to employ was 250 to 60 to cater for breast cancer all over Australia. And now, because they have taken on additional responsibility, the number of nurses, I think about 700, 800, altogether, to help out people. The big difference is that people do not pay anything for breast care nurses. They don't have to make a co-payment either. It's a gap. One of the mayors, when I walked through Goulburn, I think it was the Goulburn mayor who identified, he said it is a gap left by the government that McGrath Foundation is filling. And I think the government is going to step up to the mark, and also the community at large. As I know Australia, for the last 45 years I've been here, always steps up to the new challenges. We'll step up and support the McGrath Foundation more. Now, my walk, if it improved a life, if it saved a life, because we're walking 4,000 kilometers. 4,000 kilometers was just the walk, and it was exactly 182 days. That adds up for all the three walks, 67 days, 63 days, and 52 days altogether. 6 months walking from Melbourne to Sydney 3 times. But a lot of walk was done in preparation. The average count, I think, think Minister mentioned about the steps. It's about 6.5 million a year steps that I walked. Yeah, that's the number of steps I took. So which translates to roughly 5,500 perhaps kilometers, or 5,300 kilometers or so a year, including the preparation and the actual walk. If my walk helps somebody or improves somebody's life, saves some Australian life, it was worth it. If it inspired somebody, it's a big bonus. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you very much for your time.
Isn't that incredible? 182 days, 4,000 kilometres, 6 months, Melbourne to Sydney 3 times. Just incredible. Now, to give us a vote of thanks, please make welcome Dr. Arun Venkatesh Ali. Sorry, my misunderstanding. It's time now to launch them, formally launch them. So can Andrew Lee please come back to the stage to assist with the launch of the book?
Thank you.